And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show. I am Mike, and my co-host here, my man in crime, Marcus. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right, Michael, but a little depressed after what happened last night at Oracle. Man, it's a pathetic performance.
Well, it was a pathetic performance on what side you are rooting for. As myself
Yeah,
predicted, the Warriors would come out and win that game, and I mean, it was a it was a little closer score than I thought it was going to be. 114 to 111 favorite in the Warriors here. But some, like, I guess you can say, breaking news coming out of that series. KD is not scheduled to make it back until at least game 5. He has been ruled out for game 3 and game 4. So this is positive for the Blazers. They have an opportunity to come back still. But Marcus, with them losing last night, is this series
that's
over?
possible. Yeah, that's possible.
So
The
so
series is over.
is it over?
Yeah, yeah, it's over. I mean, the, if had they won last night, there still probably might be over. I mean, in terms of Golden State winning, I mean, it's not over obviously because the series would have got extended last night.
Yeah.
I mean, Portland still could win their two home games. That's fine. But last night was the one to get. When I said pathetic performance, people might go, oh, 114, 111. What was pathetic? The Portland Trailblazers defense was absolutely pathetic in the third quarter and the second half. And it's almost amazing to watch. I almost guarantee you, if you're watching a game with Popovich last night or Kawhi Leonard or any member of the Bucks, Brogdon, I bet they were like, damn, that is pathetic. I mean, there were times when Golden State would come down the court in the third quarter, make one pass, one cut, and then there's somebody would be wide open for a layup or wide open for a three-pointer with nobody within 10 to 15 feet.
Yeah.
It was like they were playing a horse or a game of 21, and me and you were out there just jacking up shots and be, hey, I'm open, let me shoot it.
Right.
And then I'll project ahead just a little bit. Milwaukee and Toronto laughed at that last night. Watching that, they were like, dang, we have a shot. Because there is no way playing the Portland Trailblazers um, would is going to prepare Golden State to see what they're going to see in the NBA Finals. Um, this is this Portland Trailblazers Golden State Warriors series. This, that commercial, that promo, make or miss league. This is,
Hmm.
I would label this the make or miss series because basically you're running free. You have driving layups. You've got wide open threes. I mean, this is just fun. It's fun to watch. I guess from the fans' perspective, nobody plays defense in the second half. That's fine, but it was painful to watch. Really painful to watch for me. I watch the Spurs a lot, and even the Spurs, as terrible as defenses players that they have, at least they know what's going on and they're in the right positions. So that people complain down here about the Spurs defense, and we held Denver to 90 points in Game 7. Um, this was it's pathetic. And did you notice? I'll go to the Golden State side. They didn't play defense either. They're more of a team. That's why they're beatable in the finals, Michael. They're more of a team where they just do enough to get it done now because they're going for their fourth championship in 5 years. So they really turn it off and on, and they play in spurts. Did you notice Golden State's defense last night in the first half? There
Uh,
wasn't any.
yeah, I did not notice.
Yeah, and then did you notice what they did? You notice I'm telling you they play in spurts. They play defense in spurts. Spurts. Did you watch the Golden State Warriors defense in the second half?
Yes.
Holy moly, they look like Milwaukee and Toronto. Andre Iguodala, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. They got up into Portland and just made life like they just turned it on. They played defense in spurts. They turned it on, and so they're going to need all of that against in the NBA Finals. And I can't wait to see. I cannot wait to see how Golden State turns it off and on in the NBA Finals. I want to see this because
Yeah.
Milwaukee and Toronto are hungry and they don't turn it off and on. So this is going to be fun to watch. And then I think just keep going here real quick. The Warriors scored 89 total points. The Golden State Warriors scored 89 total points in Game 7 versus LeBron and Kyrie on June 19th, 2016. The great Warriors offense scored a total of 89 points. That was the last time they actually saw real defense. And then the following year when they played the Spurs, in that Game 1, they saw real defense. They're going to see real defense in the NBA Finals. They scored 89 points through three quarters last night. So think about that for a second. I mean, they've just had a nice free run here. The last couple of years with KD, they live a lavish life with KD, but they can beat Portland without KD. They will need, the government bailout. They will need a KD bailout in the finals, playing against Milwaukee and Toronto, because it's not going to be that easy where they're just going to have free runs, pass cut here, just get a little layup or get a wide open three. It's not going to happen in the next round. Real disappointed in the Portland Trailblazers defense last night. It was pure pathetic. Draymond Green is about as athletic as you and I. I'm not kidding. It's just he's 6'8", 6'7", and he's a real talented. He knows how to play the game of basketball. But he had driving layups last night. Draymond Green. I mean, he can't. He barely jumps. He barely jumps a little higher than Dirk Nowitzki, and he's having driving layups, uncontested driving layups last night. It's pathetic. Draymond Green, look, you can mark this on the tape. He will not have a take you off the dribble driving layup against Toronto or Milwaukee. I will guarantee you that.
Oh, alrighty. You heard. I can really sense the frustration in your voice coming from this series because
Yeah.
you truly thought this was going to be a great series to watch, and like everything you were selling me, like I was buying, and I was thinking, man, what did I say this was going to be a 5-game series? Like, what was I thinking? And then like now watching these last two games, like. I mean, like obviously the series is not over, but it is time to push it is time to push the panic button. You have to beat the Warriors 4 times still in the next in the next 5 games. So that's not going to happen.
I had the I know. I had the Warriors in 7 still, so I didn't pick the Blazers now. But I didn't. I thought Portland would show a little pride and come out without KD and get one of the 2 games.
Yeah,
and they had their opportunity last night, and they blew it. I mean, they really had their opportunity last night, and they're going to rue the day that they didn't get that done. You know, C.J. McCollum had the game in his hands. He had the game in his hands on a couple of jumpers last night, one a floating, 15-footer, and then he had a 3 that if any of those go down, this game they could have won the game. C.J. McCollum had the game in his hands, and he blew it. Lillard and McCollum, I think, went 0 of 7 in the final 3 minutes. Well, there you go. There's your game. The make or miss league type thing.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is, every time Portland goes on offense and they get points, it's a struggle. It's like, oh my God, he made that. Like, wow, that was pretty decent defense. Anytime Golden State came down the court in the second half, it wasn't a struggle. Like, it's completely opposite. And even the fact that Portland had 111 to 114, playing no defense in the second half is absolutely amazing. I mean, look at the final play. For Golden State in terms of when they scored. That was just a little easy roll to the basket, a little pick and roll by Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, and Draymond just makes a layup. Like, you don't get that in the final games of big-time playoff games. It's got to be a struggle. Myers, as great as he was last night, as good as he was filling in for the foul-prone Zach Collins, man, I mean, dude, Myers Leonard is 6'11", and that's one of the things he has over Zach Collins is he jumps higher than Collins. And Draymond Green just laid it over him. He followed Curry, and Draymond Green just laid the ball over. I mean, it was just nothing. I mean, it was no resistance defense on a lot of those possessions for Portland. I mean, there was no resistance on defense by Portland. It was absolutely insane. And then let me just go here real quick. The final play. Terry Stotts, genius. He let a 6'3", great player, by the way, Damian Lillard, go one-on-one, but against a 6'6", 6'7", former Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard type, Draymond Green type defender. And he didn't come and nobody came and set a pick to get Iguodala out of there? Are you kidding me, Terry Stotts?
Yeah.
He just let Damon go one-on-one and going to jack up a shot. Listen, you know what? You could have coached that. I could have coached that. You know what I mean? Hey, Dame, just jack up something, man. Just go ahead. But Iguodala's going to guard you. You probably won't get the shot off, man, because he's a great defender. But, hey, just throw it up there. See what happens. Hey, somebody come set a screen, Michael.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody come set a screen and let's start a play.
Give us something. Yeah.
And then let me just say this. That was a foul. He got into him. He was hand-checking him big time. But that's what you got away with. That's what Isaiah Thomas and a lot of people had to deal with in the 90s, in the 80s. You could get away with that. That wasn't a foul in the 80s or 90s. That's why I think Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry would be still good players in the 90s and the early 2000s, but they wouldn't be as efficient. They wouldn't, because you can't hand check now, but you apparently can in the final game of a game 2 in the Western Conference Finals. You can hand check now. That's okay. They're not going to call it. And Iguodala was fouling him. And so apparently, the refs went back to the '90s basketball there. And so,
Hey.
hey, but
I ain't mad about it. I love '90s basketball.
yeah, well, you saw it last night. Iguodala fouled him, and then Dame just got his stripped, because that's what would happen to him on a lot of plays in the '90s. You just can't, because you can hand check back then, but you're not supposed to now. That's the reason Nash is a 2-time MVP, because they took away hand checking, and so Nash basically he was the first one before Curry. You can't really touch him on the perimeter, or you're going to get a foul called. But just a stupid decision of Stotts not having somebody come set a screen. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, can you imagine? Okay, check this out. Picture it. 1998, Game 6 of the NBA Finals. It was John Stockton and Karl Malone versus Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, right? Okay, can you imagine Jerry Sloan not coming over, not having a screen called for John Stockton, and he's telling John Stockton, hey, just beat Scottie Pippen. Just shoot over him. Do whatever you need to do. You got this, John Stockton. I mean, and I'll even come up further into the 2000s. Can you imagine even Coach D'Antoni? Hey, Steve Nash, go ahead and just beat Bruce Bowen. We're not going to come set a screen for you. We're just going to let you shoot over the top of 6'7" Bruce Bowen and just see what happens. He's a great defender, but you're probably going to get a block in your face, but let's just see what happens. That's the dumbest. I was like, where's the screen? Where's the screen last night? And it never came, and then Lillard got his pocket pick, got fouled. Who cares? Game over. I mean, Stotts is a good CEO, Coach Stotts. He came from Rick Carlisle's program over there in Dallas. He's a good CEO. I told you, remember a couple of shows ago, he's not a good X's and O's guy.
You're right.
And you saw that in the final play last night. Yeah, you saw that in the final play last night. And then if I'm the GM of the of the Portland Trailblazers, I'm going to bring Stotts in my office and say, hey, if we don't get better defensively, we may as well just go home. We're never going to win. We'll just have fun, win 55 games, and then we'll end up getting beat by a defensive minded team. That's what's going to happen. That has a few shooters. And by the way, let's just say by some miracle, the stars align, right? And Portland beats the Warriors, and I will be happy. I'm going to tell you right now, the finals would be the finals would be a wrap, because if Portland took that defense and then played against Milwaukee or Toronto, where they turn it up all the time, they don't do what the Warriors do, play in spurts, and then, let's start the third quarter and let's start playing defense. Those games, can you imagine Lillard and McCollum trying to beat Milwaukee's defense and Brogdon and the boys? No, ain't gonna happen. Can you imagine? Yeah, Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard and Serge Ibaka. I mean, the Portland Trailblazers would probably get destroyed, maybe in 5 or 4 or something like that. But that being said, they're not going to win. Golden State, I think. Obviously the series is not over. I know I'm saying it's over. I'm a little upset right now that whatever. But Portland has a shot. Maybe to win 1 or 2 games. They'll be at home. No Kevin Durant. That's good news for them. But in terms of, you hit it on the head, Michael. They said you got to win 4 out of 5, right? Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. So the theme of this show is going to be all about the D. So while prepping for this show, I was doing some quick little figuring on the Golden State Warriors. If the Portland Trailblazers just played a little bit of D and held them under 100 points per game, they have a so let me throw out some stats here. When the Golden State Warriors score over 110 points, they have a 89% winning percentage. When they score between 100 and 110, that drops down to about 80%. When it's below 100 points, they have a winning percentages of just 60%. So you play a little bit of defense, hold them underneath 100 points, and you just keep doing what you are doing. You have a 30% chance better of winning that game. So just play.
Yeah.
Just give it a little bit of D. Just give it a little bit of D. Hold them under 100 points, and you might steal a game. But the way they're playing, the way Golden State is playing, I don't see that happening at all. And this is positive for Golden State. No matter what, they can go into Portland and they can lose 2 games there. and
Mhm.
and people will be high on Portland. Oh,
Right.
they tied the series up. Yada yada yada. You guys
Right.
have to understand, KD's not on the court. He'll be back for game 5, and he'll be healthy, like 100%. And you still got to beat them twice with KD.
Yeah,
It's not going to happen.
and and KD makes them even a better defensive team.
Yeah.
KD makes them even better defensive team. Golden State. When you got Iguodala, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant on the court, that is similar to what Toronto defensively can do. The problem with that, I just said, the problem though with Golden State is they don't ratchet it up for 48 minutes. They don't do that anymore at all. That's why they're beatable. Why do you think the Clippers got them, Michael, in the first round? Why do you think Houston got them? Because they're the most turn it off and on team I've ever seen, and they started that crap last year. So they're beatable. That's what make somebody like me who's a basketball savant. I mean, I love watching every single possession. That's what's frustrating to me watching Golden State, because I look at some of the possessions they take them off. They're so beatable. They just take them off. Look at last night in the first half. They took the first half off last night. Did you see that?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. They also took they scored 50 points, right? So they were on your way to your 100 points. They would have lost.
Yeah.
If they scored 100. I mean, they did this, but they don't. They turn it off and on. Look at your Clippers. Lou Williams came back. They just played around, and they now. But you know what? They're not paying for it because KD extended. They extended the series. KD has more games on those tiny legs he has, and what you talked about, Michael, a couple weeks ago, that could hurt him because now you're extending series. And now KD, that's prone to could get hurt. People could get hurt. That's what we talked about, and that's what happened. But right now, nobody's making Golden State pay for that, and it's so frustrating to watch. It is really frustrating to watch. And then check this out. Just another little stat for you. Here. Check this out, man. Stephen Curry. This is a stat's unbelievable. Now look, free throws are awesome. I mean, I was a really good shooter a few years ago, and I made 61 free throws in a row one time, just jacking around. But I can shoot the basketball. I practiced like every single day when I was a kid. Like that's what I did. But check this out. Stephen Curry has made 79 free throws in a row in fourth quarter or overtime in playoff games dating back to 2015. So the guy doesn't miss in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Right.
79 in a row in
That's
the
crazy.
playoffs in the fourth quarter overtime dating back to 2015. That is an amazing stat. I mean, dude, you couldn't be 78 of 79? I mean, that guy. And then Seth Curry, I think his little brother tried to mess with him in his head when he had 3 free throws in a row. He was talking trash to him. I forgot what he said, but he was trying to get him off his game a little bit. And yeah, I mean, and I really like Seth Curry. I mean, he's nowhere near his brother, but he's a baller. He's a player, and he has to be on the court a lot for me because he's another threat out there. Him and Rodney Hood have to be on the court, even for them, and then they were last night. For them to even have a chance, you can talk about C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard to blue in the face, but when Golden State puts that defense on them, they got to throw it to shooters. They can't throw it to people like Turner. Turner to me is almost borderline pathetic. I know he's in the NBA. He was a second overall pick about 8-9 years ago, but man, his skills have deteriorated. I don't even know why he's in the game sometimes for Portland. Evan Turner, so that's just weird to me. I need to get him off the court. And Myers Leonard looks like he's a heck of a player, but I mean, I think, and he made a couple of threes last night, but because Zach Collins last night getting into foul trouble hurt them. They're somewhat similar players. I think Zach Collins is the better basketball player. Leonard does jump a little higher than Zach, and he can shoot threes, but Zach's just a better fundamental overall better player. So that kind of hurt Portland Trailblazers last night, having Zach Collins in foul trouble. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the Portland better win Game 3. That's the one you predicted, right? Portland will win Game 3.
Yeah, I had them winning 3 because, like, I feel like 3 is historically a kind of like a steal game type of thing.
Right.
Or not a steal game, but like the road team normally doesn't show up for Game 3. I should say. But let me touch on your turning it off and on so much. This started back when the Golden State Warriors were going for the most wins in the regular season, and then they lost the NBA Finals that year.
Yeah.
This is coming from the top. This is their quote unquote head honcho there, Steve Kerr. He is allowing this to allowing this to happen. And the reason why
Yeah.
he is continuing to allow this happen is because they won the NBA Finals last season. If they
Yeah.
if they were to have lost that NBA Finals, I think you would see them playing a different style of basketball right now. I saw a I saw a pyramid. It was like a tiered system of like NBA coaches, and people had Steve Kerr as a tier 2 head coach. That is total reach there. Like he is a fourth or fifth
Yeah.
tier coach at best.
Yeah.
I mean he has not had an opportunity to really show his coaching skills because of the talent that he has had like around him. Like he is kind of just like putting
Yeah.
fuel in the car, that type of thing, and like letting somebody else like run it. But
Yeah.
I mean, like this turning it off and on, it's going to
Yeah.
bite him, but it is going to bite him in the butt eventually. We saw it happen against the Clippers, and I believe it was Game 3, like when they blew that
Yeah.
when they blew that 30
Absolutely.
point lead, and the
Hmm.
offense never came back on when they were turning it off. So uh,
Yeah.
I kind of
Well,
hope it
yeah.
happens in the finals,
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 games in a
Yeah.
row, and
No,
they
you're
just
you're
don't turn it
100%
back on.
right. I like that tier coaching thing that you just told me. Um, Listen, I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna defend Kerr a little bit, but you're gonna be right in the end. Watch this. Listen, Kerr, when he was hired by the Warriors, he replaced Mark Jackson. Immediately when he did that, he implemented his system. They became a better team
Right.
defensively at that point, and they became a more efficient offense. So he's a better coach than Mark Jackson. Like he turned that thing up, and they followed in the beginning in terms of him implementing a system and they getting better defensively and offensively. Just like Coach Bud with the Bucks. Um, Coach Bud now has a team that's in the top 5 offensively and defensively in efficiency. Okay, they weren't like that last year. So coaches do make a difference in this regard. That being said, right now, you or I could coach the Warriors, and it wouldn't even matter. Like in other words, as soon as you sign Kevin Durant, and then he's lost control of the team, Steve Kerr. I mean, him and Draymond go at it. He has no control over Draymond Green in terms of, and I'm not saying, oh yeah, he's got to have control over the players like some like, ownership type thing. No, but Draymond Green doesn't. I mean, just why complete lack of respect for Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, I think he loves Draymond as the player. I don't think he likes um, Draymond as the person right now in terms of this has been a long marriage now. He's had Draymond since he came on the last 4 or 5 years, and Draymond is a very
Yeah.
trying player, and they don't get along at all from what I hear. So, in terms of, and people say that's overblown about their relationship. No, it's not. When you have to spend like 8 months with a person you don't get along with that well, that sucks.
Yeah, it
Okay,
does.
so so that's why it's going to be fun to see what they do in the offseason. But real quick, like when they signed Kevin Durant, it doesn't matter who gets along with who. You're going to win the title. It's a slam dunk championship. You'll beat LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love. I mean, it was a joke to watch. If you watch Game 6 and 7, right, in the 2016 finals, where LeBron and Kyrie beat the 73 win team, and you saw that they're better. You clearly saw that. Hey, listen, Golden State's not as good as they used to be. I mean, Golden State's not as good as they think they are because, um, you know, LeBron and Kyrie just turned it on and beat them. Kevin Love, those boys, Tristan Thompson, and then so they knew that's why they call them the Hampton Five. They knew to beat LeBron James, you have to go get Kevin Durant, and that's exactly what they did. And then it guaranteed them 2 finals wins, and Kevin Durant got his 2 finals MVPs. Without that signing of Kevin Durant, this is not a dynasty. Matter of fact, if you want to get go deeper into it, the signing of Kevin Durant by the Golden State Warriors um, changed 3 franchises. It changed the Warriors, made them a slam dunk for the title.
Yep.
It changed the Oklahoma City Thunder. They
Right.
haven't been the same since. And it also changed the Cleveland Cavaliers because Kyrie and Kevin Love would still be there and still be playing for NBA championships right now if KD didn't sign with the Warriors. So 3 franchises dramatically changed, and the NBA was still fun to watch, but it really wasn't that great to watch in the finals because you knew when you have Kevin Durant added to a 73-win team, that's a slam dunk to win a championship. So it's kind of a moot point there in the finals. But they've gotten lazy recently, and Kerr's lost control of it a little bit. They complain to the refs all the time. They're like, "Oh God, this bunch of babies." They complain all the time, and they're the most talented. Isn't that crazy? Like, yeah. So they've gotten lazy, and they got lazy in last year's Western Conference Finals, where they were down 22 and down 17, and then they turned it on and come back and beat the Rockets to advance to the NBA Finals. They got lazy this playoffs, but nobody's making them pay for it as far as beating them in a series. And I think that might come in June. But now Kevin Durant will be back, and so they have a little bit more rope to be lazy with the guy like Kevin Durant added to your lineup.
Yeah, only time will tell. We definitely have to get through the game tonight. The Toronto Raptors taking on the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
In this Game 3 matchup here, I believe it is Game 3, right? I blow my mind here. Yeah, it is.
We're at Game 2 now.
Yeah, Game 2. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was looking at the
Milwaukee.
Yeah, the Bucks do lead the series 1-0. They're still in Milwaukee. Who do you got winning this game for starters?
I'll pick Toronto again because this is the series that's not the make or miss. This is actually defense being played. This isn't make or miss league series. That's the other one that was last night. This one's a defensive minded series. We'll see who executes the best offense down the stretch against great defense. I'm gonna go ahead and pick. I had Milwaukee in 7. So they probably should win here and hold serve, and Toronto just I had everybody winning their home games. But just for funsies, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Toronto to win this thing tonight because it's gonna be interesting to see how the pride of Danny Green and these guys and Kawhi Leonard, who've been in big games before, Ibaka's been in big games before. Ibaka's played in the NBA Finals. Let's see what pride kicks in. You blew the game 1. Listen, we're gonna find out tonight how good Toronto is.
Yes,
okay, because most teams, when they blow a game 1 type thing, most teams that aren't championship caliber will go ahead and just lay the egg and go, whatever. Like, if it gets bad, they'll just tuck their tail and run. If it gets bad tonight, if they get down by 10 or something, they'll be, we blew game 1. Oh, woe's me. We got our 2 games in Toronto. But if Toronto comes back and says, hey, wait a minute, we controlled that game almost the entire game and lost the game in the last 3 minutes, hell no. We're going to go ahead and get this game tonight. And so we're going to find out a lot about Toronto tonight to see what type of championship caliber team they are. A team that's going to tuck tail and run when they get down by 10, or a team that's going to come out and be really upset that they let game 1 slip away and then be dominant the whole game. This one's actually a lot more fun for me to watch because not just because I hate the Warriors, but just the style of play. Just the style of play where there's actually somebody. And listen, I like free-flowing games. Heck, I like 122 to 125. That's fun to watch. But at least show me you're going to play some defense. And Portland didn't show me that last night in the second half. But tonight you will see that. It's fun to watch because you'll actually see people, oh, my God, they're going to guard somebody. And you won't see a lot of free jumpers tonight, like where, a guy gets the ball in the corner and then he has time to look at it and read the writings on it and then shoot it. You don't see that. You won't see that in the Eastern Conference Final. You won't see that in the NBA Finals as well because it'll be more Milwaukee or Toronto versus the Warriors. So it's fun for me to watch. It's actual basketball being played. Let's get a hand up in somebody's face. And so Milwaukee will probably win. I mean, I have everybody winning their home games. But just for fun tonight, I'll pick Toronto. I think they're going to come out with that championship heart and beat the Bucks.
Yeah, I kind of got to stay true of like what I picked earlier. I will have Toronto winning game 2, and just like we talked about yesterday, how game 2 is a must win for Portland in that Golden State series. This is not a must win for Toronto, but this is a want-to-win, need-to-win type of situation, just for a momentum factor going back into home. Because if they want to win this series, they have to win at least one game in Milwaukee. And what better way of winning game 2, catapulting yourself into a game 3 and game 4, possibly going up 3-1 before going back. So it's go ahead.
Yeah. No. I like your thing there. Hey. We got I get to see your speech to the guys. I know I would agree with it. There is really no speeches when it comes to this, but that would be funny. I'd have you go in there and say, hey guys, we need to win one game here to advance to the finals. I don't know if you guys do the math on that. Hey, may as well be tonight. No, but that's 100% true. I'm not making fun of your comment. That's yes. You may as well not. Don't wait till game 7, guys. Don't wait till game 5. Hey, we can take care of one tonight, guys.
Well,
it's not against the rules.
And the reason why I think tonight is the game to steal is because they gave away that first game, and Milwaukee's kind of like kind of maybe overlooking this game two opportunity, and they're like, man, like we got to travel across country, go into
Yeah.
Canada in a few days. So like they're saying bye to their wives, to their husbands and girlfriends, and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. So I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to steal this game tonight. Toronto is still playing good, and they have to win two games. Like they have to win games 3 and game 4 at
Yeah.
home
Right.
if they want to win this series. So to tonight for game 2, Kyle
Right.
Lowry needs to show back up. He already had his one game series that he has, but Kyle, let's step it up. We're paying you a lot of money. Let's have two
Yeah.
good games in this series, possibly
Yeah.
back to
No.
back. Maybe you'll just break your playoff curse of you sucking, but hopefully that happens. I don't see that happen. I'm looking for Kawhi Leonard to continue to carry the Raptors tonight. He's going to have another 40, 45-point game, and he is and and by game 5 or game 6, his back is it is going to start to get a little tired from carrying this team. But
Yeah.
this is what he has to do if he wants to make it to LA and be a asset to the Clippers over there.
Yeah, you know what you said about Kyle Lowry is correct. I mean, which Kyle Lowry is going to show up? The guy that everybody says, disappoint, or are you going to change that narrative of you a terrible playoff performer? That's what's the beauty about the playoffs, Michael. Is sometimes people are who they are, and they're just never going to change. But you know what? You have a chance to turn that around a little bit. Kyle Lowry, you make it to the finals, and you're swapping buckets with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. People will forget that you suck in the playoffs. You have a chance to change that narrative. And it started a couple of days ago with that 30-point performance, and it starts now, starts tonight.
If
The
he
the
has
player,
a
yeah,
if he has a back-to-back games in this series where like he is above average from what he is in the regular season, people will
yeah,
forget about the last 5 or 6 years of like him simply just not showing up. I mean,
right,
you make it to the finals and you're averaging 27 points like in this series, people are going to overlook it, and then
right,
you're going to have a playoff Kyle Lowry name. Let's call it K
right,
time or K time or so, I
yeah,
don't know. Like we'll think of
yeah.
something clever to call him.
Right. He could not do anything the rest of the playoffs, and then he'd be oh yeah, just had that one good game, same old
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry. Yeah, you don't want that narrative on you, right? He knows that. He's a smart guy. He knows that. Siakam is the guy for me. Pascal Siakam for Toronto.
Okay.
They have to get 25 from him. They have to because I don't think Milwaukee Bucks defense. I think they're gonna let Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry beat them. I don't know if they're gonna let Kawhi beat them tonight. I think and you see what they did in the fourth quarter. Kawhi wasn't as efficient.
Yeah.
Um,
It was very
so
quiet.
yeah, Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry have to be big. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Marc Gasol. I mean, this guy. Sometimes the game looks too fast for him. Sometimes, and I like Marc Gasol as a hell of a player. But you know what? I don't think Coach Nick Nurse, Toronto coach, is using Marc Gasol effectively in terms of he can. Marc Gasol can hit threes. He's got a good jumper. I mean, he's practiced that throughout his whole life. He's gotten better at it. And Marc Gasol can hit threes. Well, man, give Marc Gasol 7-foot butt down in the post and let him do some jump hooks and right hooks. Go to him in the post. I mean, take some pressure off Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry. And Marc Gasol is an all-star, and he can perform in the post. He doesn't have his array of moves as his older brother, Pau Gasol, but he's not bad. Get his butt down in there in the post and get some buckets. See who guards him. Force Brook Lopez to guard him. Force Giannis to guard him. You might get them in some foul trouble.
Yeah.
And Marc Gasol is a really talented player, man. I think Coach Nick Nurse is using Marc Gasol wrong. I think he has to, it doesn't have to be exclusively. We don't need Marc Gasol to turn into Akeem Olajuwon or anything. But man, let's keep it honest. Let's do something else. Let's not have Marc Gasol jack up a bunch of 18-footers and 3-pointers. Let's get his butt down in the post and see what happens. He used to be effective that way for Memphis.
I feel like a
like I said,
solid.
let's take pressure off of Kawhi then by putting Marc Gasol. Go to him once in a while.
Yeah, like I feel like a solid 20 minutes in the paint for him will be effective time. So like 27% of the possessions going down the court, he needs to have it like at least a foot in the paint.
Yeah,
Like down there
that
on
would
the block.
shock Milwaukee. Milwaukee would be like, damn, we didn't know this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And who knows? If he scores on Lopez or Giannis, they might have to run a double team or something like that, and it completely changes the game. It'd be like a fight. Putting Mark Gasol on the post, and changing the game plan up a little bit. Yeah, Kawhi's still going to get his shots, no problem. But to take a little pressure off Kawhi Leonard, putting Marc Gasol down there in the post would be like a boxer switching up, like going southpaw or something. Freak people. The other opponent would be like, "What the hell? I didn't know they were going to do this."
Right.
So I mean, come on, Coach Nurse. I've been waiting for it. I didn't see it last series very much. Put Marc Gasol's butt down there in the block and let him go to work. He's a very smart player. I wouldn't be saying this if Marc Gasol wasn't a former great player. I mean, if he was just a regular player, no. But this guy's not. This guy's been a hell of a player the past 5 years. So we'll see what happens tonight. It'll be interesting to watch, and then plus, I'll be glued to it. This is actual basketball. There will actually be hands and faces.
Yes.
Shooting the basketball tonight.
Speaking of hands and faces, in 99 days, college football starts. Like the official kickoff weekend starts in 99 days. Marcus, what is your biggest thing that you were looking forward to this college football season?
Oh my God, I'm a college football junkie, so that's a hard question for me. I could probably reel off 50 things I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I mean, this
name
is
us
awesome.
3 things. Your top 3 things.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't wait to see how Clemson. They lost 4 players. They lost all 4 starters on the defensive line.
Yep.
The Clemson Tigers, they're Dabo Swinney's boys, and they lost Albert Huggins. Who is Albert Huggins? He was their 5th player. Like they lost their top 5, the guy who would come in and rotate in there, and Albert Huggins is now with the Houston Texans. And Albert Huggins also, he's the one that replaced Dexter Lawrence, the 17th overall pick to the Giants, which I think is a reach. He replaced him. Remember Lawrence got suspended for some performance-enhancing drugs or something. He got suspended in the Final Four. Yeah, and so Albert Huggins came in there and they didn't skip a beat. They were fine even without Dexter Lawrence. That's why that's another subject. It's a reach to take for the Giants to take. I like Dexter Lawrence, but he's not worth the 17th overall pick. But anyways, how is Clemson going to replace those 5 guys? That's amazing, to replace not only your starting 4, but the 5 guys. And then we'll see how Trevor Lawrence progresses, the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's a man. It's tank for Tua, which is the stupidest notion I've ever heard. You don't tank in pro football. Tank for Tua in 2020. Well, it's the next 2 picks of the NFL draft. Tua will probably go number 1. Although I'd rather have Justin Herbert and we'll get into that in a minute, than of Oregon over Tua. That's just me, as my preference. I think Herbert's going to be a better player, and I think it was a dumb decision by him to stay in school. When you're offered millions of dollars, that's why you go to college.
Yeah.
Find a job that people are going to pay you. Now he's coming back to school. What if Herbert gets hurt?
Yeah.
The Oregon quarterback. He's another one to watch. See how he progresses. I think he'll be just fine. But let me see. That's what I'm saying. You get me excited. I start to mention a bunch of multiple teams here. But yeah. But
Clemson. Herbert wanted to return to Oregon to play with his younger brother for a season. So I could see why he did that. Kind of satisfy his parents' itch, I guess, to see both their kids in college ball. But you are exactly right. What if he tears a ACL? He could be a first-round pick down to a 7th-round pick real quick.
Yeah, and he might. I don't even think he dropped that far, because even if Herbert tore an ACL, somebody would take a flyer on him in the 2nd or 3rd round. But you're right. You made point well made. I mean, he's going to drop, and he's not. He could have easily, in this year's draft, Justin Herbert would have been taken higher than Haskins.
Yeah.
He would have been in the top 10. He might have been in the mix there right after Kyler Murray went number 1. He would have been in the mix there, right there at the Giants at 6. As a matter of fact, I'm actually glad he stayed now, because I take that back. Justin Herbert probably would have went. He's just a better overall talent than Daniel Jones of Duke, that went 6th overall, right? The pick for the Giants.
You just don't want to play him.
Justin Herbert would have easily went 6th. So Justin Herbert will be a giant right now, but he would be making $30-40 million. I mean, I don't care how rich his family is. You can't turn down $30-40 million. I don't care if your brother's coming, your sister, your auntie.
Yeah.
I don't care who's coming. Yeah. It is. To me, it's just ridiculous, because you get hurt. There's no way. But that being said, let's go back to what we were talking about Clemson. I want to see if Lawrence, the quarterback there, he's going to be the number one pick in 2021. So you got Tua, the number one pick in 2020. Let's see how he performs this year. After getting a butt kicking by the Clemson team, Tua had a terrible game. So we'll see. I want to see Alabama. I want to see how Tua responds. I want to see how the Alabama program responds to the butt kicking they got. Okay, they responded well the last time they got beat, but they got beat by Deshaun Watson on like a last-second play of the game, throwing the Hunter Renfro in the end zone, and they responded really well. But I want to see how they respond. Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's see how they respond to a butt kicking they got. Let's see how they respond. Let's see if Tonga Tuavaloa continues on his progression, is going to be the number one pick. Trevor Lawrence, let's see how if he has a sophomore slump. He lost some good players. He lost Mitch Hyatt, who protected him at offensive tackle, and also protected Deshaun Watson and protected Bryant, the other quarterback in between Lawrence and Watson. And Mitch Hyatt's now at Dallas Cowboys. We'll see how they replace these guys. It's going to be fun to watch. Georgia got their butts kicked by my UT Longhorns in the Sugar Bowl, but they got a lot of people returning. They lost a couple of key players. One, McCole Hardman to your Kansas City Chiefs, so I think it's going to be really good. But let's see how Fromm. Listen, Fromm's going to be in his third year. We'll see, or is he going to be a senior? I'm not sure. But Fromm is a good quarterback for Georgia, good steady quarterback. Let's see how they respond after getting their butt kicked by UT in the Sugar Bowl. They're one of the ones that have a really good starting. They're one of the few programs that have a really good starting quarterback returning that knows the system and knows everything. My UT Longhorns. Let's see what happens to them. Let's see if they take that momentum into the season after beating Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. One player to look for from my UT Longhorns is Malcolm Roach, number 32 in your UT Longhorn program. I think he could be Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He's 6'3", 290 pounds, hell of a defensive end. He's going to be a senior this year. I think he's going to progress, and he's progressed throughout his time at UT. And I think Malcolm Roach, number 32, I think he will be first-round pick. Late first-round pick, defensive end. He's a heck of a player. I think he's in line to be Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. So we got a few things there going on in college football. I can't wait to get started on this college football, and so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just like I was saying, it is 99 days from today, May 17th, until the college football season officially kicks off. A few things that I am looking forward to here is I'm hoping that my Kansas State Wildcats can have a pretty good season. Hopefully, this is Bill Snyder's last season. He has kind of worn out his time back. He has battled cancer twice. And he's pushing damn near 85 years old. So it is time for him to go out on a high note. Hopefully we can get a 7 to 8 win season, get a pretty good bowl, and just send him on his merry way. But with that being said, it is time and time again. Every time we have a little bit of success at the Kansas State University, we signed Bill Snyder for another 5-year extension. So It's just I think for right now, the last year he signed a 4-year extension. So we have him through the 2024 season or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just like that. It's time to hang it up.
Yeah, there's not a more respected coach though, even without national championships, than Coach Bill Snyder. I mean, that guy took over the program in the 70s or something, and he's turned that in. He's turned that into a really good program. I mean, they were in the toilet in the 70s, and look what Coach Snyder's done. That's why I think what is it? They probably have streets and signs named after him, or
Bill Snyder Highway coming into Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best highway in the state.
And that guy, he got them as high. I mean, I think they were number 1 in the country in 1998 with Michael Bishop at quarterback. So no, I mean, he's got that. He's brought them back big time. And now Kansas State's relevant. They're a destination. They're a program that people he can recruit there. Kids want to go to Manhattan. That's amazing. But Coach Snyder made them relevant, and he's one of the most well-respected coaches in football. And really, real quick, another little tidbit. Well, I'll throw this little nugget out at you. I want to see the Northwestern Wildcats, yes, in Chicago, the D1 program in Chicago.
What?
Coach Pat Fitzgerald he's a really good coach. I love Pat
Yeah,
Fitzgerald.
he is.
He's a former middle linebacker at Northwestern, and they're going to creep into the top 25 if they're not already. I didn't even look at the preseason top 25 yet.
Wait till you look.
Yeah, they're getting the former 5-star recruit from Clemson, Hunter Johnson, at quarterback. So I know everybody I know season tickets went up at Northwestern. See how Hunter Johnson performs. He wasn't going to beat out Lawrence or any of the other players there, Deshaun Watson, whatever. Well, Deshaun Watson's gone, but he wasn't going to beat out any of the players there. So he went ahead and transferred to Northwestern, which is amazing get for Northwestern to get Hunter Johnson, 5-star recruit that was at one time was going to be the starting quarterback of your Clemson Tigers there and take Dabo Swinney to the promised land. So I know everybody at Northwestern. I think they will be a top 25 team with Hunter Johnson. I know they're all excited to see, and I am too. I want to see how this kid performs. And I know Pat Fitzgerald will put him in the right positions to succeed because that's what this guy does. Pat Fitzgerald, Northwestern's a heck of a football coach. So listen, so everybody get ready. Watch. Hunter Johnson, former 5-star recruit from Clemson, will now be starting quarterback for the Northwestern Wildcats. And I want to see how well they perform in the Big Ten with Hunter Johnson.
Yeah, and speaking of transfers, I'm kind of excited to see Hurts at Oklahoma. Like, I wonder, if he will win that starting job there. As of right now, I looked at the roster before our show started, and he is listed as number 2. So I'm just wondering if Hurt will win that starting job, and if that Heisman Trophy quarterback down there and Oklahoma can continue. And then the last thing that I'm kind of excited about is my wife's Kentucky team here. They had a spectacular season last year. They beat Florida for the first time in since '85, I think it was, down there in Gainesville. Finished with a 11-2 season. I'm kind of excited if they will pile on that or if it was just a one-year fluke. So there's a lot of things happening in college football, but a lot of it's happening in the SEC. With Fromm and Tua and Kentucky. So I'm really excited for this. Hopefully, this 99 days goes by fast. Maybe we could do a little college football segment section each day, and we will count down the days.
Absolutely, and I'll piggyback off your Jalen Hurts. He better win that job going to Oklahoma. I mean, why would you go there if you're not going to win the job? Then, to be honest, you should have went to Rice or your hometown. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like Rice, Houston. I mean, that would have been nice. Go to his hometown, and for sure he would have been the starter. I mean, Jalen Hurts. I mean, what are you doing? You played in big time games. You don't go there. You better go there and start, son. You pick a place where they're salivating to get you. You're like the number 1 pick. So. Oklahoma, Jalen Hurts, he better win that job, or that wasn't a good transfer to me. He should be starting somewhere for his final season.
Yeah, you are 100% right, guys. But guys, that is going to be it for the Marcus and Mike show. If you guys are new here to the YouTube channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. If you are listening to us on podcast form, just go ahead and follow that podcast as well. Follow myself and Marcus on Twitter. It's at Marcus the Freak for Marcus. And I am at mbuck41 on the Twitter machine. Marcus does post some pretty good content on there. I just saw earlier that he posted some facts that he relayed on the show. So if you guys are ever curious of what he's doing over there, definitely go give him a follow. Any closing thoughts, Marcus?
No, just can't wait for the game tonight. Toronto-Milwaukee. We'll find out what kind of team Toronto has. They lay the egg tonight. I don't think they will, by the way, but I don't really. This series is Milwaukee will win the series because that means that Toronto would have to win 4 out of 5, and so that's probably not going to happen. And we'll see what if they have that championship part that I'm talking about with Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, and Serge Ibaka, who have been in big games before. So I'm just interested in this game tonight, big time. And then they're back at it Sunday. And then let's see if Portland can win Saturday. They're game 3. So final predictions. You predicted Portland to win game 3. I'm predicting Portland to win game 3 at home. And then so we'll see that Saturday.
All right, guys. There we go. That is it for today's show. We'll catch you Monday afternoon, same time, same place. Have a good weekend, y'all.